Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Comedy Castle podcast. I'm your host, Joel Fragomeni, going to tell you what's going on this week here at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle. We're coming to you a little later this week than normal because Jeff Dye is our headliner this week. Jeff was unable to speak to me, but I've got a great interview coming up with Kevin Lepine, who is doing Hypnosis Unleashed in October. We'll talk about that, but let's get Jeff shows. Let's plug Jeff. We love Jeff Dye. You've seen Jeff on a million shows, and he's been a favorite at the club for a few years now. And let's get into what he's got going on. It starts Thursday, September 11th. That's the day maybe most of you are hearing this one. 7:30 p.m., a single show. There is a meet and greet add-on if you'd like as well. Those might be sold out. I know we're doing very well for Jeff this week. You know, some good putting up some good numbers here. Dan Grinnell is the MC and Josh Nelson featuring all week with Jeff. And, of course, two shows on Friday, 7:15 and 9:45 p.m. are the Friday shows on September 12th. Saturday, September 13th, 7 p.m. and 9:30. As usual, that Saturday 7 p.m. show is very busy. Get those quickly. If you haven't, if you want to check out Jeff Dye, we love Jeff. It's going to be a fun week with him. And, but October is jam-packed. You know, I'm looking at the calendar for October, and there's a million shows, including the one we're going to talk about today, Hypnosis Unleashed with Kevin Lepine. I've interviewed Kevin before. He's always fun to talk to. He's always got a great outlook on life, Mr. Kevin does, and does a great hypnosis show. It's at the Four Queens in Las Vegas. Once a year, he returns to his hometown of Detroit, Michigan, to put on a show. This time it's a Sunday night. It's actually Sunday, October 12th. Come out and see Kevin. It's super fun. You're going to hear some great stories in this one about weird members of the audience. What happens there? Is Vegas in a recession? I brought that up. I've heard that maybe Vegas isn't doing as good as it used to. Well, Kevin has his thoughts on what Vegas can do to buck that trend. And I thought that was very well informed from Mr. Kevin there. He also talks about the Harlem Globetrotters, which really makes you understand that you know, the thing about Kevin that I like is he loves a show. He loves putting on a show, and he loves watching a great show, just like I do. So Kevin, he was able to meet the Globetrotters. You'll hear that story. You'll hear a funny story about... I don't know if I should tell you the other one, but he has some great stories. His take on what a hypnosis show is. That's probably the biggest question. If you're asking somebody, hey, I want to go to this hypnosis show, what it's going to be like. I think that's one of my goals here on this podcast is to teach you what it's like to watch Kevin. There's certainly clips of Hypnosis Unleashed online if you want to check those out as well. But I really enjoy talking to Kevin. As you hear, we've known each other for years and years and years. And I again, great guest. Again, I always thank Kevin for what he did around the death of Amazing Jonathan and speaking to us to memorialize his life. Jonathan comes up in this as he usually does, and he should, because he was one of the greatest. And again, don't miss a chance to see Kevin Lepine. It's coming up in October. Let's play that interview, and we'll be back right after this. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, on the other end of my line, it's great to welcome back to this podcast Kevin Lepine, star of Hypnosis Unleashed, October 12th. Kevin, how you doing today?
I'm in Vegas, living my dreams and having fun. I'm doing great.
Sounds great, man. It's always fun talking to you. We've known we've done this talk 100 times. We've known each other for over 2 decades.
Easily over 2 decades.
And I've seen the Hypnosis Unleashed show dozens of times at this point, and I always enjoy it, and I always work it, and I'm excited to see this once again.
We always try and add new stuff as well. I mean, that's the cool thing about having a nightly show in Vegas is we can come up with an idea, and after a week, we can either go, okay, this idea has legs, and we can keep like working the idea, or we get to go, oh, sounded good on paper.
That is amazing. Now let's start people that don't know you, that don't know Hypnosis Unleashed, what are people going to see when they buy a ticket for your show on October 12th at the Comedy Castle?
It's so weird because this is the one thing that makes my career difficult is most people have no idea what a hypnosis show is. And most of the people who think they know what a hypnosis show is, their first comment is always a typical, oh, so you're going to make people cluck like a chicken. Because, my art form hasn't advanced at all in 75 years. So it's the best way that I can explain, especially with my hypnosis show, it's a high energy party almost. You're going to have the option. You can sit back in the audience and laugh, or you can come up on stage and volunteer. I'm not going to drag you up there. When you volunteer, it's a couple-minute process that we do in front of the audience. Everybody gets to see and watch their friends going into that hypnotic moment. And if somebody's not hypnotized, we just send them back down to the audience. I'm not going to keep you trapped up there when obviously, it wasn't your night to go under. Anyone can. But when I say that anybody can go under, if I have 15 volunteers, if I took 5 minutes with each one of them, they'd all go under. But then the whole show is shot.
Yeah.
So instead, the induction takes about 4 minutes. We usually get about 60% or so under. And then my goal is to make it fun. We create these different scenarios where people in their imagination believe something or feel something for that moment. And we just my goal is when they volunteer, they're going to be stars. They're going to be fun stars. They're going to be part of what keeps the party rolling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a party vibe. It's not a, I think people might think hypnosis like it's, a dark stage and, all sort of, people levitating or anything like that. Not that.
Dark stage, some weird Svengali up there. This is going to be so much more interactive. It's, like I said, we'll get say we get 14 volunteer, we'll keep 6 or 7 of them. And then it's really like highlighting this person's personality. This person's quiet, so I'm going to have them do something like this. This person's really loud. I'm going to have them do stuff like this.
Yeah.
And, it's based on the crowd. It's based on the people. There's definitely a huge improv part of it as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who my co-stars are going to be tonight.
That's true. Which, as a performer, is certainly something that could make you nervous, and I think it goes to your skill to say, this is going to be good. And I will testify to that. Doesn't really matter who the people are, because it's always entertaining, but there is a thing about if you get that right person, it could be amazing.
And there are nights we do the show 5 nights a week here in Vegas. And so there are nights I'll have 6 people under, and 5 of them just, have the personality of a dish mop. And I'm just but one is so crazy and exuberant. It's okay, so I can use 4 of these to do group stuff. These 4 will be great doing this. But when I want, an immediate pop, when I want an immediate reaction, okay, I'm going to use this person because their personality is best for it. And but then again, also there are now, thankfully, when I come back to the castle, I get a lot of those great personalities every once in a while on a Saturday night in Vegas. So Emily, my wife, as you know, is part of the show. Emily and I will look across at each other and just go, Drunk Simon says. Because there are some Saturday nights in downtown Vegas where it's okay, this is going to be wild. Let's just ride the drunk wave and try and have fun with it.
Yeah, I could imagine that being a real challenge of Vegas. It's these people.
That's why we take Halloween off.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go. That's a good one.
we don't work Halloween. We don't work New Year's Eve. Yeah. And we don't work St. Patrick's Day. I have given up on drunk holidays.
Yeah, we'll do it. Christmas, we're there, but no.
Yeah, Christmas is fine.
Yeah, Christmas, come on in. We'll have a good time, but not on. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Those people. But at the Comedy Castle, I got to say, man, I've never seen anyone really get out of control at our club when you've done your show there.
But that's also because when you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
in Detroit, going to the comedy club, that is going to be the main part of your date. You're going to go there. You're going to go after dinner. So maybe you've had a drink or two, and you'll have a drink or two at the club. But it's not like you started drinking at noon
Yeah.
all day long. And then, not only have you done all of this drinking before, but now you're doing the drinking during with the whole plan in Vegas. And then we're going out drinking after. So it's just like, but I mean, it's Vegas. That's what it's designed to be.
Well, that's great. Well, let me ask you this, just getting off the show for a second.
Yeah.
How is Vegas doing? Because I hear, you read these headlines about Vegas and fewer people are coming. They're worried about Trump. Foreign visitors aren't there. What's going on in Vegas?
So I love living here in Vegas. In my opinion, I think we have not done the job that we used to do in promoting ourselves to the rest of the world. I think like all of our marketing as far as the city has fallen behind. And I think Vegas has lost its way a little bit, but it's finding it again.
Okay.
And when I say it lost its way, it has always wanted to be what it is now, which is the sports and event center
there you go,
for the world. And the problem, though, is because of that, tickets to any given event are ridiculous. Like Dolly Parton's actually going to do some shows here in Vegas.
Okay, yeah.
The cheapest tickets in the back of the arena were $600. And that was literally for like the cheap obstructed view.
Yeah.
And yes, they will get enough high rollers who will pay, $20,000 to sit up front, and they will fill that venue. But what Vegas has finally started to realize is, so because we have all these things, we're charging you for parking, we're charging a resort fee for this, we're charging for this, we're charging for this. And the problem is we've spent the last 2 years, 3 years telling the middle class, you can't afford to be here.
Yeah.
And so the middle class has all gone, fine, we'll go do something else. And now Vegas has realized it can't operate with 40, 50% occupancy.
Yeah.
And so it's starting to turn around. It's starting to create value again.
Yeah. I've sort of noticed that Vegas, they targeted the whales. They targeted these big shots, and families and that just said, look, this is unaffordable at this point.
Yeah.
We can go on a cruise. We can go to Florida. We can go, a lot of cheaper options. Yeah.
Yeah. And thankfully the city's realizing it and change is starting to happen.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing for you.
And I'm glad it's going to.
Absolutely.
It really is. Because, I mean, with Hypnosis Unleashed as well, we're downtown. We're at the Four Queens. And there's another show in the room as well. And Mike Hammer, hilarious comedy magician. And we always keep our prices the exact same because we don't want, any weird things like that. But he and I really do believe, our tickets are $34 and $44 in Vegas, which makes us the cheapest shows in Vegas, almost.
Okay.
But that's what we want to be. We want to be that show that, you're there with your wife. Okay, yeah, you know what? Your first night of your trip, you planned one of those big events. The next night, it's like, oh, crap, what can we afford now?
Yeah.
Me, come by, have some fun.
Yeah, you see, but, you see a great show even for that money.
Yes.
And I know we were talking, I think, before we've been live here about me going to New York City and what are we doing? And I'm looking up, Broadway shows. And if there's a movie star in that Broadway show, you're not getting in for less than $200.
Oh man, last time I was in New York, I wanted to see the Bobby Darin show.
Yeah.
But I mean, once again, that was way expensive.
Yeah. But you can go see shows for less than $40.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to be great.
And New York is filled with underground shows.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's New York. There's always something to stumble across.
Well, and that's what Vegas, I think, has that too. If people just know where to look for these people, because you're not you're not in Vegas because you suck. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
The best people are in Vegas, even if you don't know who they are. You don't know, you walk by the thing and you go, I never heard of this guy or whatever singer or whoever's going to be their magician. They're going to be phenomenal. It's Vegas.
And the funny thing is, like, if you're not good, you wash out here fast.
Right.
And one of the reasons you wash out fast if you're not good is there really is a community of talent.
Yeah.
And as long as you want to do a great show, you can reach out to almost any other act and go, hey, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
And we build each other up.
Right.
I've lasted for 15 years in Vegas, and I'd love to say, oh, yeah, I did that. No. There were so many people who gave me advice, offered me guidance, showed me, pitfalls, and let me grow to the fact that now Hypnosis Unleashed is the longest running hypnosis show anywhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's awesome. All right. Well, let's get into people come. We don't maybe necessarily want to encourage this at our club, but what's the funniest? I don't want to say the worst because that would certainly, open it up to, but what's the funniest a person has acted at the show that surprised you?
So Emily's favorite moment
okay.
there was a moment where, I told the group of volunteers that I was naked in the back.
Yes.
And so I turn around, all the volunteers think I'm naked. And like this one guy, he's a professional rugby player, like just ends up grabbing me and throwing me outside. And I mean, we're talking a huge rugby player. And this dude is ragdolling me. And Emily's behind him going, let me go, let me go, let me go. Let me go. All I had to do was say sleep, and he would have. But I'm like, oh God, this is too hilarious. Yeah. I've just got to take this right now.
Sacrificing yourself for the good of the show.
Exactly.
Oh,
but
what
it was
an entertainer.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
It was, it's and every night somebody's personality is going to do something that makes me go, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know just from seeing the show with Comedy Cast, like, it's not always who you like. You kind of, for me in the audience, I kind of get a feel for like, oh, I bet you this person's going to be a riot up there. This person's really going to be. And then it's not necessarily who you think it's going to be that really comes out of their shell and when you hypnotize them.
What I've learned is as long as I make the suggestions make sense, and you see this through the show where sometimes even somebody who was really meek and quiet, by the end of it, they've like allowed themselves to really open up. I'll do the thing where I'll have, the spouse, argue with the other spouse. Yeah. Every once in a while, like in the beginning, I'm like, ooh, this person's going to be too quiet for it. And then I'm like, you know what? I think they're actually going to be great at it.
Yeah.
And then they just, they all of a sudden the energy just comes out of nowhere out of them. And you're like, oh, hell yeah. Let me get 3 more of those.
Yeah. And I know from being in the crowd, it actually surprises people's friends and family, some of the volunteers that go up when they get done. They were like, what were you doing? I've never seen you act like, it's wild.
And that's one of the cool things in my show is there's a few shows going on. You're watching me, or you're watching the volunteers, or you're watching your friend, or you're watching somebody in the audience who is watching their friend. And that's also why I tell everybody, especially if you're with a group, make sure 1 or 2 people from your group volunteer.
Yeah.
It's going to be so much more fun when you see them acting like, when you see them bust out of their shell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while it is Hypnosis Unleashed and it is an uncensored show, still my big goal is always, I'm going to make you feel like a star. I'm never going to make you feel embarrassed.
Right. Yeah. That's an important thing for people that want to volunteer. They'd be afraid because they think they're going to be embarrassed. But you really make these people the focus.
It's weird. Like I'll actually train hypnotists. And when I train hypnotists, I explain to them, understand this. When somebody volunteers, the whole audience doesn't know you're a volunteer. They know one fact about that volunteer, which is, oh my God, that could have been me.
Yeah.
So when you treat that volunteer well, everybody goes, oh, okay, well, I should go next time and I'll volunteer next time. Yeah, and that's what you want. You want to create that atmosphere. I mean, the castle itself even does a great job of that, where people know, hey, maybe I haven't heard of this comic,
Mm-hmm.
but they're at the castle,
Yeah.
so I know it's going to be a good show, and I know it's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing that we really pride ourselves on, is that you can pretty much come
Yes.
and see who it is. And that, of course, that goes back to sort of the days before social media, where how would you know who this comedian is if they're not a star from television? You trust the
Yep.
club. And now, you can look up the comic, but most people don't.
Yeah.
Maybe they know the person or maybe they don't, but they find out. And that's why we have this show as well, to kind of get people a little sense of who they're coming to see and what they're going to see, and if it's going to be a fit for them. But your show is, there's no age. I see a lot of I see older folks at your show. I see younger people at your show. I see everybody.
And I think that's because we really do try. I'm not going to say Hypnosis Unleashed is fun for the entire family, because no. Well, it depends. If you want your 10-year-old to learn more about where families come from, perfect. But it's I want everyone there to feel like they're all part of the experience together. I want it to be this moment where you're not part of a crowd. You become part of a group of friends.
Yeah. Right. It's people doing it, working together.
Yeah.
If they're not working, it is a collaboration between you, them, and the folks in the audience.
And that's why we, it was funny. Somebody tagged us with the line of, it's hypnosis with a party feel. And I'm like, I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a great description.
It is. Music's loud. You're loud. Everybody's loud.
Mm-hmm.
People are standing. That's the one thing. I know if I've said this before and interviewed you. That's the one thing from my perspective, and myself, Bill, the guys who work the door, and Andre, whoever. We have to tell people to take their seats in the audience, because they are standing. And I'm like, there's people behind you. It's not a rock concert. We don't want you standing up. Please have a seat.
And then, and I love that part of it.
Yeah.
I love that we can create that kind of energy, and everybody's getting into it on that level. And I mean, it's just, I get to live my dream. I get to have fun doing this, which is all, which is why I love coming back to Detroit. I love coming home.
Yeah.
I love being able to do it there. It's great.
Nice.
And I mean, we're coming, I think in the next year or two, we will actually be coming up on literally 20 years of doing it.
That's wonderful, man.
It's such a weird concept.
Yeah.
And like, I look back at, when I really first started, doing the open mics and all of that, now to be coming up on 20 years of headlining.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to me a lot of the times.
Yeah. We always say with comedians, and I think it goes for your show as well, is Mark Ridley, when you talk to him about, we say, hey, Mark, this guy's headlining. That's kind of a thing. He was, I give you one chance. I'm happy to give you a chance. He said, if that doesn't work out, you're not coming back. And the fact that it's 20 years, that's really a testament right there.
That was actually one of my favorite moments with Mark. Was because of experiences he had with other hypnotists. He really didn't want to do those shows anymore. And I was really kind of going, come on, let's just give me one shot. Give me one. And then I think I made him the deal, which was give me one night. And if it doesn't work, I'll never ask again.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it was the whole, that's all I have to do to get you off my back. But I mean, Mark had given me so many opportunities. He had opened the doors for so many corporate gigs for me, and he had always been supportive. So it was kind of that, okay.
Yeah.
You've got one shot.
That's exactly how he operates. Yeah.
And afterwards, after that first time, he came right up to me and went, okay, let's figure out when we're doing this again.
Yeah, nice.
And that was just to me, I mean, there is no bigger compliment than that.
That is. Mark's very traditional. Mark, and again, going back to that thing about people just showing up at the club and seeing something, I think in, the 80s, 90s, there was definitely a thing where, you'd book one of a comedy hypnotist to be your weekend act, and people would show up and go, what the hell is this? Why are we watching? And I remember opening for a magician who was a fine magician, and I couldn't even tell you the guy's name. But I would, you know, he had two, you know, opening acts, comics. And then he went on, and I just watched these people. And I love magic, and I'm an amateur magician myself, and I will watch this, and I'm fascinated. But I watch people in that audience just rolling their eyes going, all right, let's get out of here. This is not what we want. Like, you don't want people at a show like that or a magic show who don't want to be there.
And also, it's really hard when you're a variety performer. And I'll put myself in that category as well. Because it took me a long time to understand my setups have to be funny.
Yeah.
You know, I can't build and build and build and build to one laugh. You know, even here in Vegas, it's got to, you know, you have to be generating that laughter. You have to make it fun from beginning to end.
And
and it takes a lot of like comedy magicians and jugglers and hypnotists to first of all understand when you're in a comedy venue, it's all got to be funny.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine, Warpo, he's a street magician in New Orleans. One of the first things he tells magicians is, it's not about the trick. It's never about the trick.
Yeah.
It's about you. You know, what are you presenting? Why do they want to watch you?
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, God, there was a time when I think there was like 3 different comedy magicians living on everybody's block.
There might have been, I don't know. You know, still, that still works, but again, it is that thing about you know, you got to make people not want to roll their eyes at it. And you know, when you see, we of course we got to say you know, Penn and Teller, super successful doing that. You know, the
Jonathan was
Amazing Jonathan. Yeah. Like you never, you know, you came to see Amazing Jonathan because you wanted to see.
Yep. You wanted
comedy.
to see that personality.
It was a comedy show. Yeah. I mean, the magic was solid, but I mean, the guy was just, the personality was just off the chart. And I think there's a thing too in your show, in addition to the humor of it, there's sort of this buildup of, you're setting up the thing that's going to happen. And the anticipation of the audience is really where I think a lot of sort of the excitement is, that it's not just the people, you know, it's like you see them do one thing and then you go, do you want to go further?
Yep.
And just that anticipation just builds through the whole show. It's amazing.
And one of the things that Emily and I are big on doing is we want to change the set every 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
So, you know, okay, we just did this thing. Now we have to go in a completely different way for the next thing. And now we have to go in a different way this time. And you keep, you know, looking for new avenues to go, okay, how do we get the audience excited for what's coming next?
Right. Well,
I mean, you know, so we could do, oh my God, we could get a panel and talk about like all the bad comics, all the hack comics, all of the bad performers. One of the worst hypnotists I had ever seen. It did 5. He said he did 5 different pieces in his show. Okay. And one of the pieces is he made one person forget the number 4.
Okay.
The second person, he made them forget the number 3. And he had 4 different people not remembering 4 different numbers. And to him, that was 4 full routines.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
So let me ask you about Vegas. Do people in this community, are there guys that, you know, because I know performers talk, we talk in the comedy world. Is there a guy, is there anybody that you just like, nobody likes that guy? Is there anybody like that? I mean, you don't have to name names,
Rarely.
but I mean, does that,
Rarely. And the reason that I say rarely is if you are that guy, if you are that guy, Barry Manilow will take your time slot.
I got you. Yeah.
And Barry's a nice guy.
Okay.
The casino isn't going to put up with a pain in their ass. Not when there is somebody of equal or higher marquee value available.
Right.
And there always is. Most people who last here last because they really. My favorite example is the Golden Knights, which, okay, yeah, a hockey team. Totally different than one performer. The Golden Knights didn't exist until the Golden Knights existed. And as soon as they existed, they became part of every charity function in town. They became part of every activity in town. They became a part of the community ASAP.
Nice.
And that's honestly what most of the great performers who have survived here year after year after year in Vegas do. They're part of the community. You know, it's when there were multiple hypnosis shows in town, all of us hypnotists would get together and go to lunch because we wanted to support each other and figure out what we could do to help build each other's show. Because the other thing, talk about like variety arts is you come, you see a good hypnosis show. Next time you come, maybe you'll go back to that hypnosis show. Or maybe you'll go, oh man, that hypnosis show was fun. Let's check out a different one.
Yeah.
But if you see a bad hypnosis show, you'll never go see another one ever again in your life.
There you go. Yes.
You see a bad comedy magician, you'll never go see another one in your life.
Yes.
So, I mean, a lot of the variety acts are very big on, let's help you be the best you.
Right. I get that. The rising tide lifts all boats.
All boats.
I'm going to ask you this. Go ahead.
And if you don't believe that, people ask me all the time about like setting up a residency somewhere. And that's one of the keys of setting up a residency is build up everybody else around you. The more you build them up, the more they build you up, the more that community will make each other.
Nice. All right. I heard this story about a Vegas entertainer. I'm not sure who it is. I'm going to name a name here. I might get it wrong. And if you know the story, I'll let you finish it. There's a comedian opening for a singer. I want to say Paul Anka. I don't know that. But like, let's say a traditional Vegas type guy, a Wayne Newton type. But I believe this might have been Paul Anka. I don't know the case. And this is a comedian. Comedian's opening for Paul Anka for years. And he says, maybe it's a Sinatra now that I'm telling the story, but he said, I'm opening for you every night, and, I never see you, in the showroom while I'm performing. I'm looking in the wings. You're never there. You never see the show. He goes, I come in late or whatever. It's just kind of a thing. And he goes, I'd really love it if you came and watched the show. I've been opening for you for years. Just come watch the show. So the Anka shows up, and he's standing in the wings watching this comedian. He turns to whoever, is in charge. He goes, you got to fire this guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
He finally just wanted that approval from Paul Anka. And Anka was like, why is this guy, so that's a funny thing. That's definitely a show business story.
And there are so many of those stories in town of, like how this person got there, how they got there. One of the worst that I ever encountered was somebody who was big in the late 80s. And through a friend of a friend, they were at a restaurant with us, a few years ago, and then got mad, seriously mad, when the 20-year-old waitress didn't know who he was. And we looked at him and we were like, dude, she wasn't alive when you were relevant on that level.
Oh, that's funny.
But those personalities wash out here so quickly because just no one wants to be around that energy. I mean, there are. We could probably go through a million comics at the Castle who you're like, oh yeah, they had a great act, but we just didn't want to bring the person back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a famous one that comes up. People start looking at the wall. How was this person? Well, and they're not coming
they were
back.
Here.
They're not coming back. I'll tell you why. What'd they do? Well, yeah.
They made the weekend very, very long.
That's it. There's definitely that thing, but it's rare. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
it is.
talking one or two. I mean, in my years of working the door there, and even as a performer, now we're going back 26 years this year. 2 or 3 names.
Yeah, because I mean, most comics, okay, yeah, they can have really busy schedules. They can have whatever's going on in their personal life. They can have this, they can have that. But when they're at the castle, it's not that, that bar that's doing the one night comedy night.
Yeah.
It's a venue built just for funny.
Yeah.
And so every great performer looks at that and goes, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want to do. I mean, like not to knock like the Royal Oak Music Hall.
Yeah.
Which is a great venue, especially, for a huge name. But, people can walk off that stage going, because it's so big.
Yeah. Right.
You don't feel that laughter energy coming at you.
Yeah.
But the castle, I mean, God, you've been up there on great nights when you just got all of that energy focused on that area.
Yeah.
And it really is that rock star feeling when you're, the Comedy Castle is the type of venue when you're doing a crappy one-nighter somewhere else that you're doing the crappy one-nighter so that eventually you'll be good enough to do the castle.
That's why you do it. Yeah, you hone yourself at the other shows and then you put it on at the castle. But
I remember one show I had to do. It was at a sports bar in Ohio. And like they booked me on the same night as a major college football game. And they wouldn't turn the TVs off during the show.
I've been there myself. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's wild.
Actually, we had we had a really fun night in Vegas doing the show, and I've got 4 guys on stage who volunteered. We had like a total of like 10 people up there, and I'm just about to start the induction, and I'm seeing these 4 guys staring at their buddy in the audience. And I knew something was up. I'm like, what's going on? And they went, and it was March Madness. They went, there's 20 seconds left in the Michigan game. And like one of the guys are like, I got a lot riding on this. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to have to kill about, 2 or 3 minutes because otherwise they're not going to go under until this game is resolved.
Need that clear mind to go under.
Yep. And so I make a couple of jokes about sports. I make some jokes about Michigan sports. I made a joke about the Lions.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden, 3 of the 4 guys go, ooh. 4th guy is cracking up. And that's how I met Higgins, the long snapper from the Detroit Lions.
Okay, there you go, man. Yeah.
He thought it was hilarious. They were a great group of guys.
Nice. That's great, man. I'm sure you meet all kinds of great people, man. That's the dream as an entertainer, to be in Vegas working.
I actually got to meet a player from the greatest basketball team of all time.
Ooh.
Since he has been with this team, they have never lost a game.
Oh.
And they haven't actually lost a game in probably the last 40 years.
The Harlem Globetrotters.
Yes. We had a Globetrotter at the show. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's great.
And the Globetrotters, like they're the goodwill ambassadors to the world.
Sure.
And my showroom, so this guy, he's just a great human being. And my showroom manager here in Vegas, his daughter was going to go see her aunt in Minnesota. And it had been kind of a long few weeks for his family. And his aunt was going to take her to go and see the Globetrotters. I'm like, oh. So I reach out to my buddy and he's like, do they buy tickets yet? I'm like, no, they're going to buy them. If you could just, kind of like shout them out. He said, just give me their name. He put them court seat, brought her on the court during the game. Like, that whole sitcom family goes to the circus and the kid ends up, being the main rider of the elephants. Like they did that for her. And I'm like, oh my God, she was walking on air for weeks.
That's amazing. Yeah, the Globetrotters are great. I mean, and as when I became, when you become an entertainer and you look at it through those eyes as an adult, you just see what goes into making that so entertaining.
And it is
it's
one
so
of the
impressive.
greatest comedy juggling shows
absolutely.
ever.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Mm-hmm. And the generals have to be, they're entertaining in their own way.
Yep. And the funny thing is now, the generals have actually changed since we were kids.
Oh, okay.
They're not the bad guys. They are now the scrappy underdog team, just looking for that chance.
Tonight might be their night.
Yep. In fact, when the Globetrotters were here, like Emily and I went and we paid for because this was before I knew any of these guys, and like we paid to do the on-court experience. And there's a woman on the Generals and on the Globetrotters.
Okay, yeah.
And they're like, they're helping people, like make free throw shots and stuff. And so I'm talking with the woman on the Generals, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for a shot, and I want you to block it. She was like, okay, so you'll do this, and this is how, and I'm like, no. This is real. Oh. Don't let me score. And she went, okay. I had no chance. No. And then with the woman from the Globetrotters, I'm like, okay, I want you to score a basket on me. I'm going to do everything I can to stop you. She literally ran circles around me. But like, I wanted that video.
Yeah.
I wanted the video because look, a video of me going over on a professional athlete, that's like eye rolling, because anyone who knows me knows, never going to happen.
Right.
So I figured, let's do the real thing. Show me how this would go down in real life. And that was fun and funny.
Yeah, that's amazing. Those guys are great.
And we actually had another moment at the show. So I've got a guy, he's hypnotized, he's on stage, and he's wearing this Bride of Frankenstein t-shirt. Mm-hmm. And I asked his wife in the audience, I'm like, oh, are you guys horror fans? And she goes, yeah. I said, okay. I look at the guy and I go, sleep. I'll count of three, you're going to open up your eyes. And there's the reason you love horror movies so much. You used to star in the Munsters.
Yeah.
And everybody here is here to see you and hear stories about being in the TV show The Munsters. And so I wake the guy up, and he's waving to all of his fans and everything. And we're playing this, we're hyping this. And I look at the hypnotized guy and go, oh, by the way, your biggest fan is here in the audience. Would you mind taking a picture with him? He goes, yeah, bring him up on stage. So I bring guy up on stage. The dude is hypnotized. I grab his wife's phone, and I'm taking pictures because, hey, yeah, this guy loves you. And, the hypnotized person's, taking all these great pictures with his biggest fan. And so then, the guy goes back in the audience, and I have the guy sit down. I go sleep again. And before I handed the woman back her phone, I went, oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, playing the part of the super fan tonight, Butch Patrick, the original Eddie Munster. Oh. And his wife is staring at her phone now going, oh, my God.
That's nice, man. There you go.
But, and Butch was just so cool about that.
That's funny, man.
Yeah. And it's great when you can create little moments like that in a show as well. That always just makes it fun.
No, it's super fun. We want people to show up October 12th. So we're doing this yes. a month out. You got a month to get your tickets there. Go over to comedycastle.com, pick your seats. You want to get, the closer you sit, the more fun it'll be. It's fun from anywhere, but yeah.
Yep. You're not going to get dragged up on stage.
No.
But if you or one of the people in your group volunteer, you'll have that fun available to you as well.
There you go. Well, Kevin, thanks for talking to me, dude. It's so fun. Always good catching up, and really looking forward to this show. Sunday night, October 12th.
We'll see you soon, brother.
All right, Kevin. Thanks so much, man. All right, Kevin. Thank you. Yeah, that was fun. Right? He's got a lot of Kevin. He thinks about things. He's well thought out. He really is. I love Kevin Lepine. And Hypnosis Unleashed, super fun. Shout out to Emily Lepine. I should have mentioned that to Kevin while we were talking, to shout out Emily, who helps him out. But if you want to see a really cool hypnosis show that you'd have to go to Vegas to see otherwise, and as you heard, Vegas may be not doing so well, but I recommend it if you're in Vegas, and even better if you're at the Comedy Castle. Come out and see us Sunday, October 12th. It's about a month from now. as we're recording this for you. But again, Jeff Dye this week. That's our headliner. Super funny dude. Been on a million shows. A lot of people know Jeff from numerous shows, including Money for Strangers, Girl Code, NBC's I Can Do That. I saw him in a movie called Stealing Jokes, directed by Mr. Mike Young. We had Mike on the show a couple months ago. Funny Detroit comic. Made a cool movie. And, Better Late Than Never was his show with Terry Bradshaw and William Shatner, where they went to all the great spots around this world. I don't know where you can see Better Late Than Never. Maybe it's out there. But Jeff's super funny. Come out, check us out. Check out Kevin, of course, in October. We'll be talking more about that as that gets closer. But, folks, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for listening to the Comedy Castle podcast, as always. Got to plug the advanced comedy class. That is, before we go here, that is starting up this Saturday. There is still a few spots left. So call the club if you want to learn about comedy from me, 248-542-9900. I'd love to have you in the advanced comedy class. Of course, beginner classes with Bill Bouchard. Those are always starting up. I believe he's got a Saturday session starting up a week from Saturday on the 20th. So it's another opportunity to learn from some of the best at the best club in the country, Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle. All right, we've said enough. See you this weekend for Jeff Dye. Kevin, we'll see you in October. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.